You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
Welcome in to Be a Beacon with Lighthouse on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Bill Mitchner.
Drew again, week 2 here. No Bill, just Drew and Harrison, the dynamic duo, the greatest duo of all time since Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Right, Harrison?
There you go. Yeah. And I'll have you get that mic a little bit more pointed at you. There you go.
There we go. I said we're Steph Curry and Klay Thompson for you guys who couldn't hear me, just so I can make sure everybody knows that. But I'm Steph Curry. Harrison, you're Klay Thompson.
That's fine.
The greatest shooters of all time. Welcome to Be a Beacon, 93.7 The Ticket here. Happy Wednesday. I'm Drew Haverman, like I said. No guests tonight. We had a few guests planned, but as you know, with kids in the world, plans fall through. Kids have their own plans, and we adjust. We're adaptable here. Shout out to Brandon.
Yeah, just a rerun from last week a little bit there. I mean, it's not like you guys aren't constantly doing stuff over at Lighthouse that we can break down here. And it is a great community service. And, you know, I'll let you dive into it there, Drew.
It's a great community. And like Bill's been there. You know, he's supposed to be on vacation, but he actually came down with something, got a little sick. So we're giving him
it's going around like crazy.
Lighthouse, it's going around like crazy. That was that influenza. It's scary out there, you know. Get your flu shots if you believe in all that and you want to get it, you know. So this kind of episode, we're going to kind of dive into a little bit of a topic that kind of I noticed today at Lighthouse kind of hit home with a few students. We had some students, you know, we have seniors at Lighthouse. Obviously, we have grades 6 through 12, so we get the whole wide rim of all the little teenagers. But we had them seniors in today, and a few of them were just kind of venting to me about how stressful it is to get the question, what are you doing next year? Oh, what you doing for college? Or what are you doing for this? What's after high school? Like, I know it's the easiest go-to question for adults to ask to seniors, to any kid in high school. But when I was talking to those kids today, the amount of anxiety that they had just from like talking about somebody talking about that question to them was just, it made me real sad, because it's like we put all that pressure, on college and what you're doing after it. But these kids are still in that heat of their life of like, this is the most, drama filled part of their life, the most emotional part of their life. And we're also putting the most pressure on them. Do you remember being a senior and having that kind of pressure, Harrison?
Yeah, I remember it pretty well because I was in the same boat. I've talked a little bit. I was going to go to UNL, and then I got how much it was going to cost because I had to do the room and board, and I didn't realize you could avoid that. And with that, the meal plans, it's like, I'll go to SEC. That's going to switch up how the major is going to be. So then I went undecided. It's tough because kids compare, I think, a lot. I mean, we all do.
Yeah.
And when you're at that point and you're, oh, he's going to go be an architect. He's, trying to be a lawyer, a doctor. And it's like, I don't know. It can be really tough if you're not fully sure. And if you feel that pressure, but if you have good people around you, you can ease through it.
That's the biggest thing, is that the good people around you. And like, yeah, that comparison culture, that's what we live in now. And I think like social media is kind of a big part of that. The kids see these other kids their age doing these crazy things. And I mean, I can remember being that age and seeing, back in my day, it was like Kevin Durant. He's my age and he was going to the NBA at my age. I was like, I'm not going to the NBA. I'm not living up to my expectations right now. I'm not making the NBA. But it's like, dude, Kevin Durant's 7 foot tall, can shoot, has a 40-inch vertical. Like your expectations aren't the same as Kevin Durant's. It's funny. And then we have, in a smaller sense, we have those kids who, they may be going to different colleges outside of the state. They may be going to some Ivy League schools or even just some bigger name schools. And the other kids are seeing that and they're like thinking, oh, I'm going to SEC and maybe I'm not doing as well. But like, college is college.
Yeah. I mean, when I was like going to Southeast Community College, like, I don't know why, but I also was like, oh man, people are going to think I'm dumb. And it's, do I want to get in the conversation of like saying, oh, I'm doing it for save money? But at the end of the day, it's a great school.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And I don't know why, people have that kind of guilt in there. And that's the part where I think kids are putting so much pressure on themselves, like really early. It's like, you got plenty of time to figure it out. Because when I got to SEC, I actually saw like people who were just like me, who were doing on the same plan. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, what was I even worried about?
It kind of stinks to have that mentality of like, you're thinking of an excuse before you even get asked the question because you're like ashamed of it. But like, then once you get there, you're like, it's college, it's class. This degree is going to give me a degree, just a job, the same way as a degree from somewhere else is. It's kind of sad when we see the kids, accomplishing something, but because they're not accomplishing something that their friends are accomplishing, they're looking down on themselves. So I like to make sure we let the kids know, SEC, wherever you go to college, you'll be proud of that. Like, and it's not even an issue that this one is better, the name brand, Nike over Old Navy and like Harvard over SEC. But like, it's college, man. Get your credits.
Plus, if you're successful, like, if you're going to be that person, it's not just going to be purely because of the university you went to. And like, the older you get, you realize it's the work ethic, it's the creativity, whatever your strengths are, you'll figure out what those are and you'll lean on them. Like, yes, the degree is important depending on what you want to do, but some people, they'll have no degree and have, incredibly successful careers, and they went a completely opposite route. Did you know like what you wanted to do when you were coming out of high school?
I kind of did. It's going to be kind of weird. We didn't want to get political before, but it's funny. I graduated high school the year that Obama was elected. And I remember I told everybody, I'm going to be the next president. That's what I was bound to do. And I was like, that's not going to happen. But this is what I wanted to do out of high school. And
that's awesome.
I started doing that in college, and then I didn't go that path, but now I'm doing it, which is kind of like what you said, though. You don't know what you're going to end up doing. You could still do it no matter where you go to college.
Yeah, you just got to wake up and accept the opportunities. I think that's the biggest thing for like a lot of kids, is just be open-minded. Because, at one point I wanted to be a politician.
Yeah.
And then the older I got, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. Then I was thinking architecture, and it's like, well, I don't really like math. And the older I got, I was like, well, I've always liked community and sports. And just like, I like talking. My parents probably told me to shut up back in the day in the back seat when I was a little kid, because I remember I talked your ear off. But you just got to have that patience. How do you like talk to kids when the ones that have like a ton of anxiety? Because, there's, I don't know if there's high schoolers listening right now, but in their senior year and it's February 11th, maybe they're graduating and they're having some anxiety about it. What are some of the things that you tell them?
What we like to do at Lighthouse is like, the biggest thing is just take a step back. Like there's no rush. One of my biggest things I say at ASB every single day is you have all the time in the world, because like kids think they need to get these things done right away. They need to have this idea right away. They need to know what they're going to be when they're 30 years old, when they're 15. And it's like, brother, you don't even know what you like yet.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know if you like math. You don't even know if you like this, because you've just done the basic levels of it. Like I remember when I started in journalism, I had a journalism math class. I remember being like, what is journalism math? And then it ended up being like record keeping, how to tabulate votes and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, this math is stuff that I can actually do in the real world, where back in high school, I was doing the math that like I felt like I don't need to know stats and all the algebra stuff. But like, obviously you do need to know algebra, kids. Focus on your school. But you don't even like, that's the best part sometimes about that first year in college. You get all that, the generals in there, so you can kind of see what you want to do. What we like to tell kids is you might not even know what career you want right now. So what you need to be doing is just being open-minded, like you said, being able to acknowledge your resources. If somebody says, hey, do you want to try this? Don't just poo-poo it and say no right away because you don't think you'll like it. You never know. We tell this story every single week, and I'm going to tell it every single week, I swear. Sandy, shout out to you at Corn Coast Cuts. You started off in construction. You wanted to do cement work, and you fell in love with barbering because of the tip program. There was 0% chance that she was going to be a barber when she was a junior in high school, and now she's already a barber. It's just the opportunity is sometimes the thing that stops kids from not doing what they want to do.
Well, and even the things that you end up doing that you didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I talk about the time when I worked at CIP, not like the company was bad or anything. The staff was good to me and everything. But I realized, how to work with my hands. Did I fall in love with it? No, but I gained a lot of gratitude for the people in that field. And also it feels good. Like if my own apartment has a leak, I don't have to panic and call me. Like I have some skills to it that I'll get to keep with me. When I did tree service, like, I'll go look at trees and estimate it. And those small things you pick up. And even though I'm not, an arborist or I'm not a maintenance guy or I'm not a drywall repair, you still pick up all those skills and then the connections, and you get a deeper appreciation of the people in those fields.
And that, what you just said with the connections, that's the one thing we talk with the kids about all the time, is you never know when that connection is going to come in handy.
Oh yeah.
Because there's times I've had so many different jobs in my life. I've worked from schools to retail to food and all that. And you never know when that experience is going to be a story you need to tell that kid. Or like, I remember my first job was at Subway at a high school. And like, I tell kids all the time that might be one of the best high school jobs you can have, because you get a free sandwich when you leave. You get like the making the actual sandwich isn't really hard because they're telling you how to make it as you do it. And like, you're just kind of chilling. You don't got to memorize a menu. There's not really a fast food line, like a drive-through. It's really just kind of chilling and making sandwiches, and you get to eat while you're working. And like for a teenager, I feel like that is sometimes the most important thing, an easy job where you're getting fed and you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it. So a lot of these kids are like, I want to go work at, I'm going to go be a teller when I'm a sophomore in high school. It's like, yeah, that's a great job for a sophomore, but like, you're kind of stepping into the big boy world now when you need to just be chilling and focusing on school. Like, do you remember your first job?
Yeah, it's grocery store.
Yeah.
The classic grocery store. And I hated it and I quit pretty fast.
Yeah.
It was your mind-numbing work for me. But, some people loved it. My brother actually really liked it, and he worked there his entire time through high school. But that was my first one. And I actually liked, some of the tougher jobs when I was younger. And, then you start getting a little bit older and you realize that, man, I got to be doing this for the rest of my life, unless you can work your way up. But I didn't have the patience to do that. But, it's all great values. And I do think like the summer jobs, though, how big are you on like kids getting jobs at young?
I think it's important. I always stress that they can't be the whole life. You know what I mean? They can't be full-time for sure. And they even almost need to be quarter time. Like, I think it's important to teach them like some type of work ethic and responsibility. But I get so sad when I see a kid like leave from school and go to work and then go home. I'm just like, buddy, like you're doing the adult thing already.
Yeah. Sometimes it's unfortunate that some of those kids have to, though. And that's where that you really feel for them, because you'd imagine that plate's absolutely full, because maybe they have to go help pay bills. And
for sure.
I know you won't name names, but I'm sure you've had kids at Lighthouse that kind of fall in that category where that's just what they have to do.
Yep. A lot of times we have kids who their parents are relying on them, and it's unfortunate, but sometimes you got to see that bad and then take the good with it. Is like, that kid is going to be a very well-adjusted adult. he may not have the fun childhood that you wish they could have, but at least they're going to be a person that's adding to society, and they're going to be a person that can work hard and they understand like hard work.
Yeah, they're going to be mature faster.
Yeah. Which is a good thing, but you want to, you just that fine edge, or you want them to have fun and be a kid, but sometimes it's impossible. And it's one of those things though, having that job though, it teaches something that I think that is so important for kids to know, is relying on the other people, because a lot of times kids now, I'm seeing a lot more these days, the kids are kind of more in their own bubble. They have their own friends, they have their own circle, they have their little algorithm on TikTok that's like very curated to what they specifically like. So they're not really used to hearing other opinions or being told to do something that they're not necessarily wanting to do. And I've noticed a lot of kids, they'll come from their job and they'll come to Lighthouse and they'll be like, yeah, I was doing this, my boss told me I did it wrong. And so and like, you'll just watch them slowly learn patience and learn understanding. And like by the end of the second semester, they've been working for 2 or 3 months, and there's a whole different kid. They're like telling the other kids to calm down. They're not as hyper as they once were. And it's fun. It's cool to see that maturing, but then you just kind of miss that little kid again, like, oh buddy, you're a little too serious right now. But it's that double-edged sword.
It's the part where every person's got to carve their own path eventually.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be fair. I mean, people say it all the time. It's cliche, but it's true. Your starting block might be 10 miles behind the actual starting line.
For sure.
And is it fair that that's where your starting block is? Of course not. But some of those kids make an incredible life out of it because they gain a ton of valuable skills. Some of them, really struggle because they don't have this support. And when things are hard, like Lighthouse, for instance, you feed guys.
Yeah.
And you can imagine being the kid who's going to school, whose parents are working night shifts or double, they're working 12-hour shifts all the time. So they're not home when they get there to make them supper, and they got to go to work later. So they don't have time to really sit down and make themselves a meal. At least they can go to Lighthouse and get a good meal and have some connection with people and friends before life gets serious again.
I cannot stress how important food is.
It's huge.
It's what we motivate the kids with. It's how we get them to do anything. It's sometimes in ASP, obviously the kids in my suspension program, they don't want to be there. They're suspended. They'd rather be at home. Their parents are making them come here. They don't want to do schoolwork for me, who doesn't have nothing to do with the school. Like, I'm not your teacher. Why are you telling me to do this assignment?
Yeah. Why do you care?
Exactly. But when I'm like, hey, I'll get you a little bag of Skittles if you get 3 of these assignments done, you should see how fast they pick up these papers and they get these done. People think it's bribery, but at the same time, there's not a thing in the world that adults even do that they're not getting something in return usually for it. You don't go to your job and do it for free. You don't live in your house and just, everything's coming to me for free. You have to work for it and then you get something in return. So I like to make sure the kids are rewarded for doing things that are good. And even if the reward is just, I don't know, me spending $1.50 at the gas station across the street, if it made them sit there for 3 hours and do work quietly, I'm going to spend $1.50 every single time. Like that's part of our job, in my opinion.
Yeah. And wait, did you guys always start serving meals at the very beginning?
I believe we did at the very beginning. I'm not that old, Harrison, but ever since I've been there, we've definitely done dinner and like a snack after school. ASP, since I've been there, has kind of changed their food program a little bit. At first, we definitely had a lunch in ASP where obviously we can't not have the kids eat lunch. That's crazy. But we didn't have like a breakfast program. And I noticed that like every kid would come in and just be hungry. Like, it's just like,
well, especially when they're grown and they're young, like they're hungry as soon as they wake up.
Harrison, they are always hungry.
I remember it. God. You were too. I was. It's part of life. Dude,
I'll have 3 kids and then we'll get those oven pizzas. I'm like, okay, I can probably make 2 oven pizzas for 3 kids. No, I got to make 3 Jack's pizzas for 3 different kids. And it's like, yep, and they still hungry.
Yeah. I mean, that's the age where you can eat like 5 McDonald's cheeseburgers and gain 1 pound.
Yes.
On the day. It's just like your metabolism is unreal. And that's where it's important to have that stuff for those kids because they need that fuel.
Dumb question. Has your metabolism caught up to you yet now? Where you try to order big, you're like, I can't. Then you get it, and you're like, oh, never mind. I can't finish all this.
Yeah, I talked about it. Shout out to Jeff and Nicole Essink. They have a Fitness Fanatic show, and I logged my food, and I didn't even eat that bad, but just I had like Subway, and then I had like chicken and rice later that day, which is good. But even like that Subway and all the processed foods and the amount of sodium because it was a spicy Italian, so probably like one of the most unhealthy sandwiches you can get there.
The best one though.
And yeah, it's definitely caught up to me. Even if I like go out and, you know, have some Coors Lights, like I can feel it the next morning. Even if I have like just 5 Coors Lights, I'll wake up like, oh, when I was, you know, in college, it was nothing.
Dude, I remember, this is going to be gross. I remember Chipotle. I used to get a bowl and a burrito and eat both of them as my meal. And now, I mean, I'm getting a bowl and I'm giving half it to my dog. I'm like, here, buddy, you finish this. Like, I can't. And now I'm just wasting money. It's like my eyes are still thinking I got that, you know, 25-year-old metabolism, but I don't.
Well, that's why it's so big. Shout out. Oh my goodness. She makes all the meals.
Oh, Michelle.
Thank you.
Michelle Sydney, yep.
And of course, Bill Michener, but Michelle, who makes all those meals, like that is such a huge thing. And I bet you she is probably cherished so much by a lot of those kids for the amount of work that she puts in.
And even on top of that is one of the things that I think goes unnoticed or underappreciated. It's definitely appreciated, but I don't think it's as appreciated as it should be. When a kid has a birthday, Michelle will cook them or bake them, a homemade cake of their choosing. And I mean, this is not a shot at my parents. I love my parents. I didn't have many homemade cakes growing up. We did, you know, we went to Hy-Vee Russ's and got a cake. Yeah. Like there's just something about her coming in at 9 a.m. and sitting there and making a cake for multiple hours for just this one student. And the student doesn't even necessarily have to share it with us. The student usually takes it home for their family because like obviously they should. Cake, yeah. And she'll do that for 3 kids on the same day. And
how many kids do you have in Lighthouse? Like roughly
60 to 70 every day after school. 60 to 70.
So she's making 70 individual birthday cakes.
Not every day.
Not every day. But
every year she's making up to 70 birthday cakes every single school year minimum.
70 times a year she's choosing to do extra work, not for the betterment of herself, but for the kids.
Literally, and these aren't just vanilla cakes. What do you want? What kind of cake do you want? They'll say a strawberry cake with Oreo toppings. You're like, I'll figure it out.
But it's such a good staff over there. And one more time, because this is Be a Beacon with Lighthouse. You know, if parents are interested or kids are listening right now, that, you know, that sounds nice. I'd like a birthday cake on my birthday. Where can they find you?
All you got to do is come to 27th and O, basically right behind that Casey's there. We're super easy to find. Big old building that says Lighthouse on it. Everything at Lighthouse is free. You come to Lighthouse with $0. You leave with something. I want to make sure that I stress that every single time. Every resource we offer to the kids is free. So if you have a kid you need from sixth grade to 12th grade, bring them to Lighthouse. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Lighthouse. Stay here with Be a Beacon.
This is Bill Michener, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyons leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All these with $2,500 down and with a roof credit.
Flowers and chocolate are great for Valentine's Day, but you know what really earns you bonus points? A massage. No, not from you, but from the professionals at The Body Shop. Now is the time to purchase a gift certificate for your significant other to make sure you're the big winner this Valentine's Day. Go to thebodyshoplincoln.com and select from their wide variety of specific massages. Once you've purchased, you can either print out the certificate or email it to the lucky recipient. Do Valentine's Day right this year with a massage from The Body Shop, right behind Eyeglass World at 56th and O.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Don't be that guy running to the store for flowers and a card on your way home. Let Sartor Heyman Jewelers help you be a hero this Valentine's Day. We have great gifts in store now, and if you spend $129, we'll throw in a free bouquet of roses. Give her what she really wants this year and let us do the rest. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, your hometown jeweler since 1905. In Lincoln and Grand Island and online at sartorheyman.com.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds. In the afternoon, high around 53. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies, calm winds. Overnight low around 33. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies return with light winds. An afternoon high near 57. I'm meteorologist Kyle Plucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's Coffee Week is now Coffee Month in February. With 25 participating venues, visit and check into at least 10 for a chance to win a $250 gift card to the venue of your choice. More details at lincoln.org/coffee-month, brought to you by Visit Lincoln. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And electrical.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to Be a Beacon with Lighthouse on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Be a Beacon. Happy Wednesday here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm here with the great Harrison. I almost said Aaron's, dude. I almost did it, Harrison.
Don't Americanize my name.
Yeah, no, we're going to get you. We're going to be
German.
culturally
It's
right.
Arns.
Hard German, Arns. Well, welcome back. Okay.
Nice little sound effect. There.
Dropping pins. Well, we're here, talking about being a senior in high school and just all the pressure that kids are kind of dealing with these days. And not just for the seniors, because, kids feel pressure everywhere. And I kind of tend to, I don't want to say the word blame, but I kind of put the blame on the internet. That's just kind of where I always put I think the internet, sometimes it can be such a helpful tool and such a great thing to connect people, but then that connection also breeds that comparison we talked about in the first half of the episode, where the kids are seeing other people doing things and thinking that that's what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that kind of growing up there, but you grew up more in the internet time than I did.
Yeah. So it wasn't as big as a deal yet, but it was starting to happen where, on Instagram, you'd start to see it, where people are always going to post like the good stuff, of course. And it wasn't so big of a thing now, but it is kind of crazy looking at kids today. That is it's not just a side thing. Like, it's part of their life.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell kids that they're wrong for it, because I think every generation is going to pick a bone with the next generation.
For sure.
And that so happens to be the bone I have. But,
Same.
maybe they probably handle it better, or some do, and some unfortunately struggle with it. It's just, it can be helpful. Like, if you're watching YouTube, I want to learn how to fix my car. Fantastic. But, you talked about those algorithms before. Here's the stuff you like. We're going to give it to you every day of the week without hesitation. And you're not going to learn anything new, because it's the opinions that you already have. And that's the stuff that scares me, is like when the media is so finely tuned with how you already think. Because if you have questions or you're curious, you're not going to go find new connections or talk to other people. You're just going to keep relying on an algorithm to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And that makes you really narrow-sighted.
It's like, you have an opinion? Here, let me make sure I should tell you how your opinion is the only right opinion in the world, and nobody else's opinion matters at all. Don't listen to anybody else. It's like, dude, no. Like sometimes those recommended videos you see next to the YouTube is just like, interesting, I want to click on that, but it's just going to confirm a bunch of stuff that's probably not true.
Well, and you see it in sports, right? Like, without having to get in other subjects that are more uncomfortable, and keep it in sports because it's sports radio. I'm a Nebraska fan. Anytime there's a controversial call, what does my X account look like?
Yep.
Wow, these refs are the worst, blah, 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 blah. And say we're playing Iowa. And then you have the Iowa fans saying, like, that was absolutely the right call. And, like, you just get that confirmation bias. And I think that's the scary part for youth today, on top of the amount of hours they spend on their phones and everything else. But confirmation bias is a tough thing to shake off, because, again, you're just not going to learn anything new.
I think it's interesting when we see, like, the social media companies try to, like, combat that, because you see the little things that they try to do. Like, they'll make it like so you can't see how many likes somebody has, or you can't see the comments and stuff like that. I like those little tricks and those little like helpers, but at the same time, we're almost 3 steps ahead of the problem. Like, we need to come back to the beginning of the problem. Like, why are we needing this need this confirmation? Why are we needing this confirmation from other people so much? But it's humans want that connection, and the internet provides that so much.
It's all in us a little bit. Like, we like our community, and we like being safe in our community. So like, it makes sense. Because, adults, I see parents on their phones way too much.
Yeah.
So it's not like only the kids are doing it. The kids are just growing up when this thing's at its strongest point, and it's only going to get stronger. Like, when you talk to the kids today, like, do they ever open up about that stuff? Are they, like, even things like AI, I've noticed, like, some kids are comfortable, some kids really don't like it, which is kind of surprising. What are some of the things that they say?
I definitely, there's a lot more. There's, like you said, there's definitely that tear in between. There's like a split, because we have a lot of kids who will come in and be like, yeah, I use ChatGPT for a lot of my homework assignments, and I use it for this. And, like, they're using it, I'm not saying to cheat, but they're using it to, like, do their homework. And then there'll be kids who use it like, I'm using it the correct way. I'm using this to help me write an email to my teacher. I'm using this to help me study for a test by putting all my notes into it, and then it gives me a little quiz to take. And then there's some kids who are like, I'm never touching it. I'm never pressing enter. They're calling the AI like names and stuff. They're just like, dude, like, you got to find a happy medium of, like, you can't hate technology, but you also need to, like, not fully just go all in on it. And then, like you said, with the adults, one of Bill's favorite things to do is, if he walks into the room, he'll always see, always the kids are on their phone, but if he sees all the adults on their phone, he'll say, all y'all the same. Because it's just all the kids and all the adults just sitting there scrolling on their phone. And I'm guilty of it too. I do it all the time. But we all just, I think, kind of now our default is, when there's nothing to do, pull that phone out and just go to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and scroll mindlessly. And then 30 minutes later, you've been scrolling, you realize you've done nothing.
Yeah. Or, there's times too, it's like, oh, I'm in an elevator. This is awkward. There's a person there. Or, oh my Lord, I'm at the airport and someone's sitting next to me. Let me put up my phone so they don't bother me. Or I'm afraid just even have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, that part's unhealthy. I don't care what anybody says.
Yes.
Like, it's not good to just block out any sort of conversation because you have anxiety, and just whip out your phone to avoid it.
Especially when you're pulling up, like, nothing important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not even pulling up a conversation you're having. You're pulling up, like, what people are doing back home on Facebook.
Yeah, you'd rather, and you're not even enjoying it. Like
Yeah.
you'd rather be bored and suffer through just mindless scrolling as opposed to maybe just talk to them.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe you guys get along great.
And that's one of the things in ASP that we don't take the kids' phones, but we do like tell them that they don't need to be on it the whole time. We're never gonna tell like I'm a big believer. I know it's not as productive as it should be, but I don't like taking kids' property. I understand that. Like I'm not gonna. It's theirs. I don't want to take it. Like but at the same time, there still should be rules about not using it. So what we like to do is like we like to look at the kids' screen time, and then we'll be like, "Does you see the screen time? It says use on the phone for 17 hours. How many hours are there in a day?" And they'll say 24. So we'll do this big lesson about now what is 17 divided by 24, and we'll go like, "You spent whatever."
How high are those numbers? Is there like what are
they're in the teens.
Seriously?
They're in the teens, Harrison.
Parents, that's probably a good one to check on.
Yeah.
Like again, I'm not saying kids can't have their phones, but there's got to be a healthy balance, and they're designed to just be incredibly addictive. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like they don't look at it as sometimes wasting time. Like it's just part of them.
It's their hand.
And that's the confusing part for me, where I try not to judge too much, but it's a real world to them.
Yeah. And like you see that it gets in the teens, and then sometimes I'll give it to them. The kids say this to me whenever I give them a hard time. I have my phone playing music on, and it's like, yeah, that's okay. I give you that, but you're still on your phone. Like it's a hit or miss, But when you see those numbers, sometimes your brain goes, "How in the world? Like when did you exist? When did you eat?
How'd you get here this morning?"
Yeah, were you on your phone walking down the halls? Like in these teens,
and they are.
Yeah, because these teens, the numbers that are in the teens, the 15 to 16 hours a day, they're at school those days too. It's like they're sitting there in class, and LPS did a lot better job this year and last year of the cell phone policy, and they made it a lot stricter where the kids need to leave their phones in the lockers. And from what I've gathered, it's worked pretty well, but I still know kids are kids.
They're going to find loopholes.
They're going to find a way. And I know kids, like they talk about all the time. They'll have their phone, they'll put their phone in the locker, and then they'll have their old phone that's still connected to the internet, and they're using that phone. And like kids are smart. They have their ways, You got to think back to when you were a kid. You always found a way to get around the rules.
Well, you're above the curve when it comes to the technology learning curve.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be the older generations, the further up you get, the more confusing it gets. And I'm terrified for me because I get fooled by AI videos sometimes right now. So who knows what it looks like down the road. But no, that's great that I think LPS is doing that. Again, you're not taking away their property. It's like, just keep it there. Like I'm not going to take it, but just don't bring it with you. We won't have any problems.
And it's sometimes, I remember there was a TikTok I saw, and the teacher had a tally board going. He told all his students to bring your phone to class, and I want you all to have your phones on loud. So we're going to hear whose phones goes off. And then they had a tally chart going for each phone. And at the end of the day, they saw that like certain kids had like 30 and had like 6. And then the kids who ended up having the high number of tallies were more like ashamed of like, oh, wow, I am on my phone this much in school. I don't like, this isn't how it should be. Not like ashamed of the talking to their friends, but ashamed of they're not giving their full attention to something that their parents want them to do. So like that shame and that need to do good is there. It's just, it needs to be shown. Does that make sense?
Do they like accept the idea of like, oh man, you're right. Like I probably should, like when they see the number, like does it click for them?
Yes. They don't understand what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Then they see the number, and then they still kind of get like, okay, 15 is not that high of a number. Then you go, how many hours are there in a day? And they say 24. You go, okay, 15 over 24, do the math. And then they do it, and they're like, oh my God, that is 80% of my day is sitting there on my phone. And then you say things like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then I know we weren't supposed to ask that question, but then they say, I want to be in the NBA. And you're like, okay, well, do you think LeBron James is on his phone for 15 hours a day? No. Do you think that, all those Anthony Edwards is on his phone 19 hours a day? No, they're in the gym, they're shooting, they're working out, they were doing schoolwork. And then you also do the fact of like, you are avoiding this math worksheet that has the easiest problems ever because you want to scroll and look at nothing. Just get that done, then you can scroll. And a lot of times once they hear that, they kind of just, you're right, I'm being kind of dumb. Because you gotta make them feel dumb sometimes.
Yeah, well, part of me like has hope because I do hear those like from younger kids every now and then that almost got an old soul about it. I'm like, okay, so at least there's a balance of like there's kids that are I feel like going to kind of level it out where some are going to be out there preaching like, hey, we got to cool it down. And of course, there's always going to be kids that just fall straight into it, same way adults have. Like I know adults that are probably up there for in the teens for how many hours on the phone. But it is good that they're at least open to hearing like, yeah, you might be right.
I always say there's kids from every generation. Like you will see a kid now that he would have fit in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s. Like they're just happen to have the things they have now. We have a lot of kids who get suspended for things that are like, you could have done that in the 80s and got suspended too. You could have done that and not you pantsed your friend. Yep, that was a thing in the 60s. You know what I mean? People got suspended for that for their whole life. But we're also now getting suspensions. There's like these kids are vaping in the hallway where this is such a new thing that parents aren't understanding what's going on. So the parents' brains go to my kid is doing drugs in school.
Yeah.
Where it's like back in their day, doing drugs in school was they were smoking marijuana in the bathroom, stinking of the whole class. Like, and you can get caught doing that. But these kids, they got all the secrecy in the world. They're just hitting it, and then nobody's getting in trouble. And so the parents are seeing it, and they're like, "My kid's doing drugs in school. This is a big deal." It is a big deal, but like 90% of the kids are doing it. So you have to take the context of your kid's not alone in this problem. It's such a big problem that's almost not as big of a problem as it should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's just, every generation is going to have its battles.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like the nicotine battle is like full on war right now because I remember, my, innocent, beautiful little small town, Hartington, Nebraska, where, everyone gets along. Part of it, because I think, I don't want to say like everyone's a Catholic over there. So really common. Not to say that, Catholic's the way to go. For me, it is. For you, I'll let you decide. But everyone there kind of had like the same agreement. So there was never any drama.
Yeah.
And then, small private school, public school. And then I remember it just like broke like water. It's like kids got caught smoking vapes in the bathroom. And it was like, how could that happen to our innocent little small town?
No, not here.
But it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's happening here. It's happening in Lincoln. It's happening in Omaha, California. It just go pick a city. And that's that generation's battle. So it happens. And that's where you can't overreact, but just saying they'll figure it out isn't a great answer either.
And it's just talking to them, because a lot of times the kids, when we have the conversation about vaping with the kids, it's they understand that it's an issue, they understand it's a problem, and they understand they shouldn't do it in school. Like a lot of the times they're not saying they're sitting there saying they're going to quit altogether, because like, I mean, it's hard to get a kid to quit doing drugs, but like what we can do a lot of times is get them to realize that you don't need to be high in school. Well,
and they feel sometimes shame about it.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of see that they're not okay with it either. But
when you break it down to them like that, it's like, yeah, you're right. Why am I getting high in school? Are you even enjoying yourself? Are you paranoid? Are you just sitting there worried about getting in trouble the entire time? Like, and so a lot of times it's just that conversation. But I understand where parenting is hard, because like we said before, in the parent's mind, the kid is doing drugs in school. So like, their brain is like, I need to stop this. You need to stop doing and it's like, no, sit down, have a conversation. I know you want to yell, and I know you want to like be upset and send them to rehab and all that, but you just need to have a conversation of where they're getting it, how they're getting it, why they're doing it versus that they're doing it.
Well, it's like with anything, there's so many issues in life, is you just have the basic conversation.
Yeah.
Like, don't immediately start pulling all the levers. Like, this is what we need to fix it. Sign up for this. We're gonna send you to this school over here because your friends over here are bad influences. Like, talk to the kid first, and just maybe that's all you needed was just the first conversation, and don't have the first conversation be blowing up, screaming.
Yeah.
Unless they really just totally deny you, then I'll leave your parents to how you decide to parent. But that's with any problem in life. If you have a problem with someone, like noise complaints are the easiest one.
Yeah.
You call the office, you want to file them for a noise complaint, or again, people are afraid of confrontation. You just go up in the door like, hey man, it's kind of loud. You mind keeping it down? Oh yeah, no problem.
And how many times are you going to be the jerk and be like, no, I'm going to keep playing it louder.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like when someone tells you you're bothering them, you're going to fix it.
Yeah. And then the 5% of the time, it's probably even less that happens. Well, then you have to like kind of up the ante. Yeah. But the point is, most of the time, it's just that basic conversation.
Yeah. And with that said, we're going to go to a quick break here. We'll be right back with Be a Beacon.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
No one's ever explained it this way. That's what we hear at Trade-Offs when you finally see how today's crop insurance tools work with your grain marketing plan, not in isolation. With hail and wind rates increasing and margins already tight, it's time to challenge how you look at crop insurance. It's time to ask better questions. It's time to call Trade-Offs. Call us at 402-858-7501 or visit gotradeus.com to start the conversation. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trade-Offs, ingrained in your success. No, seriously, give us a call.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All these with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Back Nine Golf in South Lincoln is the premier indoor golf experience in the state. The weather in the winter months is cold, windy, and as unpredictable as a tee shot on the 450-yard par 4. With top-of-the-line full-swing simulators and a PGA teaching professional, Back Nine Golf is there to help you improve your game and lower your score. Back Nine Golf is open to the public with 24/7 access for members. Learn about Back Nine's variety of memberships today and see the facility for yourself at 7501 South 15th Street in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Back Nine Golf, your premier indoor golf and events destination.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart-Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town. MWR, a local company of Lincoln, is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966.
Now back to Be a Beacon with Lighthouse on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Be a Beacon here on 93.7 The Ticket. What up, Tristan? Shout out to the guys in the producer booth. That good-looking guy back there, male model over there. We are here, happy Wednesday. Finishing up this show. Final segment, I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about things we can maybe talk to the kids about instead of talking to them about all this pressure and all this comparison and all these, I don't know,
there's positives, right?
That.
I know that generation is kicking away drinking.
Yeah,
that came out of nowhere.
Yep.
They're just I don't really want Kira to drink, which I don't know how that happened, but it's not like it's all bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to paint this generation as these guys have so many problems.
This generation is, I will definitely say, is the most tolerant generation of all time. There's so many examples I've seen of kids being so against bullying that they're doing things that are foreign to me. Buying random kids shoes because they saw that the other kid didn't have a pair, was always wearing sandals.
Yep.
There in my generation, that would happen, but it'd be a group of kids coming together, 5 or 6 kids putting $5 together. Not one person dropping $70, $80 and getting this person's shoes and just be like, here you go. And then never talking to them again. This generation, and we've seen with the walkouts and all that stuff, not to get political, we always talk about that, but it's just one of those things where it's cool to see how the internet in this kind of situation can get the kids connected in that way and kind of keep them at least informed of what's going on. Now, whether or not what sides you're on the fence and all that, it doesn't really matter as long as the kids are still safe and, doing the right thing. I think we all kind of agree on that.
Well, we talked about it off air, with conversation we won't say on air, but people just got to get back to having that just respect for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, and that goes back to the small conversations, and, that's where I hope kids are getting better and they kind of see, just a lot of the people bickering and stuff, and just making that a level playing field where it's we just need to start trying to get along. And
human to human.
Well, I say it all the time, and that's why I like Lighthouse. And shout out to Go Big Red Captain. Lighthouse into house. That is absolutely true. We got Drew Haverman. But, that's the thing about Lighthouse that's great because it's just local. It's the community. You guys aren't solving the world's problems.
Right.
You're solving Lincoln's problems.
I will say it is hard for me. Every kid comes in to ASP and they're always like, oh, I'm working with this, and I want to solve the world's problems. I want to be like, this is what you need to do, and now you're gonna be a doctor when you grow up. And it's okay, Drew, just get them breakfast. Just get them a Pop-Tart, let them get their homework done.
Tell them I hope you have a good day.
Yeah,
but that's a small thing.
Honestly, though, Harrison, that is what it takes. That's the kindness we were talking about with Pete a few weeks ago. It's just those little things that you want to hear. And we talked about how good this generation is. One thing that I will say, even with schools these days, I came to ASP in kind of a weird time with just the generations and how they're behaving. When I started in ASP, about 80% of all of our suspensions were fights. Kids getting in fights, and then them coming to ASP, and then me having to do a circle for them and getting them to get along and all that. It's gone from maybe 80% fights, 90% fights to down to 20% of them are fights.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the other chunk now?
Now it's the vaping. It's the vaping and that. But I mean, I think the school is safer with less fights. Obviously you don't want drugs there, but it's a sign of the generation. They're not beefing. They're not one to fight each other. They're not trying to throw hands. They're a lot more tolerant and they want to get along, which is my generation. It was fights every day, it seemed like, but there wasn't drugs at school as much. you gotta take what you can sometimes, I guess, Harrison, right?
Yeah, I mean, not everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows, but that's why you need good local community, places, and that's why I like this station. And I say it all the time, but it's great. We have a lot of community shows here. Yeah, well, of course, we're sports radio, and if you guys want to stick around, I got myself, Tristan Gomez. After this hour, we'll dive right back into the sports world. But it is good just to have these reminders and just keep it in the community. I think that's where people get lost, is where they start blowing up all the issues. And, when you wake up in the news and it's like, oh, what's happening in Africa? It's like, well,
yeah,
what's happening next door?
Or you have that feeling of you wake up and you have that internal dread of, okay, let's look at the news. let's see what to be mad about today. But you guys hear that? Harrison and Tristan on Next. That's a great show to watch. Ladies, check that show out, right? But
I think Tristan's not single, so.
Okay, well, I'm talking about you, Harrison.
There you go.
One thing that adults, I feel like I want to get to before we ended the show, is one thing that adults kind of need to unlearn. I want to make sure adults kind of understand that the way that you felt back in the day with these questions, the way that you didn't really want to talk about what you were doing next and the pressure that you felt as a kid of, what are you going to do for college? What's coming up? These kids don't want to answer it just as much as you didn't want to answer it. Sometimes if that's your go-to answer for these seniors, instead of asking them what you got next for college or how's school going, just ask them how they're doing. How's one of their favorite things going? Because I promise you, they want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about school right now, and they don't want to talk about college right now. Some of them do. Some of them want to talk about their trades, and some of them want to talk about what they're doing for college. But a lot of the times, they're going to want to just talk about how they're doing. So all you parents out there, take this advice from the greatest dad of all time, Drew Haveman, and make sure you always be a beacon and
All
be
right,
who
Lincoln,
you need.
if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across